By morning, Elias Crow officially no longer existed. His badge was deactivated, his name removed from internal directories, and his personnel file locked under a classification that meant only one thing. Someone above the law had decided he was no longer protected by it. Crow learned this not from an arrest team or a knock on the door, but from silence. No alerts on his phone, no warnings, no frantic calls from former colleagues. The city had simply moved around him the way water moves around a stone, acknowledging its presence only by refusing to touch it. That was how Crow knew this was no longer about Malcolm Hale. This was about control. Crow spent the day underground, literally and figuratively. He moved through places forgotten by maps, closed parking structures, abandoned transit corridors, maintenance tunnels built during older administrations. These places had no cameras because they were never meant to exist long enough to justify them. As night settled, he finally opened the drive Jonah Rook had given him. The files inside were not documents at first. They were recordings. Audio, voices. Crow listened carefully, headphones low, breath slow. The voices were calm, educated, unhurried. Men and women accustomed to being obeyed. They were discussing outcomes, not actions. Public response will stabilize within 48 hours. The narrative is already aligned. Legal exposure remains minimal. No names, no titles, but the language was unmistakable. This was leadership. One voice, older than the others, spoke last. Crow is a variable, it said. He always has been. Crow paused the recording. They had been watching him long before he started watching them. The next file was worse. It was a list, not names. Positions: Judicial Oversight, National Security Liaison, Media Strategy Director, Defense Procurement Chair. Each title was followed by timestamps, dates, and a simple word repeated again and again. Cleared, cleared, cleared. Malcolm Hale's name appeared once near the bottom. Status, corrected. Crow leaned back against the concrete wall and closed his eyes. The council didn't punish, it corrected. Which meant every escape he had ever seen, every collapsed case, every vanished witness was not failure. It was design. Above him, the city slept. People dreamed of ordinary things, morning routines, familiar faces. They trusted systems they never saw, laws they never questioned, leaders they assumed were held accountable by something larger than themselves. Crow understood now that the system had never been broken. It had been completed. By the third night, the pressure began. Crow noticed it in small ways at first. A maintenance door that had been unlocked the night before now sealed shut. A public terminal that refused to connect. A stranger who looked too long, then turned away too quickly. They weren't chasing him. They were narrowing the world. Crow contacted Rook using an old method. No phones, no networks. A coded message left where only one man would know to look. They met again beneath the city, but this time Rook arrived late. "You shouldn't have opened the files yet," Rook said. "They were already talking about me," Crow replied. "How long?" Rook hesitated. That was answer enough. "They let you hear them," Rook said finally. "That's new." Crow studied him. "You knew they would." Rook exhaled slowly. "They want you engaged, distracted. Focused on the wrong layer." "Which layer is that?" "The one that bleeds." Rook pulled out a tablet and slid it across the bench. A face appeared on the screen, female, mid-50s, calm expression, public presence. "She's running for something," Crow said. "She already has it," Rook replied. "She just hasn't announced it yet." The woman was head of the National Ethics Commission. Her job was to investigate misuse of power. Crow felt the familiar tightening in his chest. "You're saying she's part of it?" "I'm saying she signs the conclusions before the investigations begin." They didn't have time to say more. The lights dimmed, not completely, just enough. A signal. Rook stood. "They found us." Crow didn't ask how. It no longer mattered. They split without another word, disappearing into separate tunnels, moving on instinct and memory. Crow surfaced blocks away, blending into late-night foot traffic, the hum of the city swallowing him whole. An hour later, the news broke. The National Ethics Commission announced a sweeping internal review. The headline praised transparency. Crow watched the broadcast from a public screen. The woman from the tablet spoke with practiced sincerity. "Trust," she said, "is built through accountability." Crow smiled faintly. That word again. By dawn, the review had concluded. No wrongdoing found. By noon, a press release subtly referenced Elias Crow, framing him as a disgruntled former official attempting to undermine public confidence. By evening, an arrest warrant was upgraded. Crow was no longer just a suspect. He was a threat. That night, someone tried to kill him, not directly, not loudly. A vehicle drifted through a red light at the exact moment Crow stepped off the curb. The timing was perfect. The driver never looked at him. Crow rolled clear by inches. The car didn't stop, neither did the city. Crow stood there for a long moment, heart steady, mind clear. They had escalated. Which meant something else had changed. Back in the tunnel network, Crow found what he had been looking for since Malcolm Hale died. A pattern. Every correction followed the same structure. A quiet internal signal, a public-facing distraction. A legal seal, then silence. Except this time the silence came too fast, they were rushing. Crow finally understood why. Someone inside the council was leaking, not to expose them, to test them. Crow wasn't the target, he was the instrument. And as he connected the final points, a message appeared on the tablet Rook had given him. No sender, no encryption warning, just text. You are looking ATTHE door, the room is above you, come alone. A location followed. It was not underground, it was in the open, at the very center of the city. Crow didn't hesitate because now he knew the truth. Power never runs, it invites.